So here's what nobody tells you when you start a business. Everyone talks about getting clients, making sales, building that big brand. And yes, of course, all of that matters. But there's an entire world operating behind the scenes, a world of lenders, vendors, government agencies, and even corporate partners who are actually quietly running checks on your business and profile before they ever say yes to you and finance you. And if your business doesn't show up in that world, you don't exist. I learned this the hard way. I was growing my business, doing deals, showing up every single day, and I thought I was actually building something solid. But the first time I went to apply for business financing, I hit a wall. The lender couldn't find a real business credit history on me and didn't think I was fully established. Not because I had bad credit at that time, but because I had no credit, no profile, no track record. So nothing to actually verify. That's like literally trying to get approved for an apartment with zero rental history. So you could be the most responsible person in the world, have really high revenues, but without documentation about it, nobody can confirm that. So if you have the LLC, the IN, the website, the business cards, the whole setup, and you're even making money, we cannot have a vendor go to verify your company and find nothing. So just a smile and hard work is not going to cut it, especially when you start playing in the big space, right? The heavy 6 and 7-figure contracts for credibility. And I just never want you guys to lose that opportunity because you don't have your ducks in a row. So I'm Brittany Calloway, and my job is to help you turn credit into capital and capital into freedom. And so if you are a business owner, whether you've been at it 10 years or even 10 days, this video is basically to help you understand what Dun Bradstreet is, or a Dun's number. And I need to really break down the way you see your business so you understand what cage codes are, SAM, UEI, because we need to make sure that you actually understand how to go to get the bigger plays with these verifications. So let's get into it. So once I was told I didn't have a SAM registration, a cage code, and most importantly, a DUNS number to be verified, I had to obviously start digging. And what I found was, the name I never paid attention to before was Dun Bradstreet. And when I first heard of it, I obviously thought it sounded like a law firm or some old money institution, and that's just not the case. So Dun Bradstreet is one of the most powerful tools available to small business owners, and most of us have never been told about it. And so since they've been around since the 1800s, their main job is to maintain credit and business profiles on over 600 million businesses worldwide and internationally. And when lenders, vendors, or government agencies want to verify that your business is actually legitimate, one of the ways that they check that is through Dun Bradstreet, because one of the first places they look to make sure that it's legitimate. It's like a credit bureau. So just like Equifax, TransUnion tracks personal credit history, Dun Bradstreet tracks your actual business credit. They pull data from banks, suppliers, public records, and even business transactions to really just build an overall picture of how financially trustworthy your company is. So this isn't just for Fortune 500 companies. This is for you, whether you are seasoned, making revenue, doing $1 million and up, or you are even running a service-based business from your laptop or kitchen table, right? So no matter where you are in the process, this is important to have. So if you have a business, you need a presence here. So it all starts, of course, with Dun & Brad's. So your DUNS number is just a unique 9-digit code that serves as your business global identity number, but it's actually just for your company. It's how suppliers are going to now vet you. It's how international partners and corporations confirm business before actually doing a deal with you. So without it, you're essentially invisible in that professional and financial circles that also matter. So good news is that applying for a DUNS number is actually free. You can get one at no cost through the Dun & Bradstreet website or through the MyDNB mobile app. Sometimes the processing can take about 30 days depending on how backed up they are, but there's also an expedited option if you need it faster. I'll be real with you, I had to pay a contractor to go ahead and just file it for me quickly on all 3 of my entities and businesses. I just did it at the same time because I had an opportunity on the table and waiting was just not really going to be an option for me at that point. So obviously the ROI paid off. It unlocked a lot of doors that would not have been open to me had I just not had it or couldn't find a way to be savvy enough to get it. So if you have the option to be proactive right now, don't wait. Just get the DUNS number now before you need it urgently so it's already just working for you when the right opportunity shows up and presents itself. Now, here's also something you need to note too, because in the past few years, right, things have changed. And if you're chasing those bigger seven-figure government contracts, the DUNS number was the universal identifier for federal contracting. But now we also have something called the UEI, the Unique Entity Identifier. And this is critical to know too, because your UEI is a 12-character code that SAM.gov now assigns automatically when you register your business on SAM.gov, which also stands for the System for Award Management. And this is the federal government's official database for businesses that want to do business with the government. Registration for that is also completely free, so you don't need to have anyone try to charge you for it. So when you register on SAM.gov, two things happen. You get your UEI and you get your CAGE code assigned automatically to you. And the CAGE code, just so you know, stands for the Commercial and Government Entity Code. It's a 5-character identifier managed by the Defense Logistics Agency. It basically tells federal agencies that your business is a verified, registered entity. So I just want to make sure that lands. So if you want to pursue any bigger contracts, right, you're going to need SAM.gov registration active, your UEI number, CAGE code in place, as well as Dun Bradstreet also active, especially if you're going for financing. All of these combined, make sure it's renewed every single year. So set a reminder now, because an expired registration can cost you a contract. So we just want to make sure we stay on top of it. And that's why the DUNS number is also still matters for DMB business credit profile. But for federal work, you're working with your UEI too as well. So these are two different systems, and I just want you to have both of them operating together so you know and don't get blindsided. Now, let's also talk about a score that lenders and vendors are also going to be looking at when they pull your DMB profile. You've heard it before, maybe as a PAYDEX score. So the PAYDEX score is on a scale of 1 to 100. And unlike personal credit, where 700 is considered good, in the business world, you want to be at 80 or above. And so here's how that range breaks down, just so you know. The score is from 80 to 100, and it indicates low risk. When you pay on time, you're dependable. So scores from 50 to 70 show moderate risk, and anything below 50 actually signals high risk to potential lenders and partners. So we want to be on the higher side, right, for the PAYDEX score. What makes the PAYDEX score unique is that it's dollar weighted and based entirely on your payment history. It really reflects how reliable your business pays, what it owes, and weighs larger transactions more heavily. So consistently paying your bigger accounts on time has the most impact. This is so key when you go for financing for bigger contracts, because you want to get funding sometimes even up front before the agency has to pay you back. So when you do that, you're just looking way more competent, and you can get larger funding and big boy plays already given to you, right? Just even based off of invoices. So again, these are big things that we have to keep in mind when we start to play in bigger spaces. So here's also what I need you to hear. To even get a PAYDEX score, you need at least 3 active trade lines reporting to Dun Bradstreet. Trade lines are simple accounts, right? Vendors, suppliers, and or lenders that report your payment activity to DMB. So without them, there's just not going to be anything to score. So just to fast track this, once you get the DUNS number, you can start opening trade line accounts. Vendors typically report their first invoices within 30 to 90 days. So your score then is officially going to appear once 3 payment experiences are posted to your actual report, usually around like that 90 to 120 day mark. Sometimes it can be quicker depending on what vendor you use. And from there, very on time or early payment builds your score higher. And if you're serious about building your actual business the right way, financially, legally, and strategically, make sure to book a call with my team at thefundinglounge.com so we can get you funded quickly and efficiently. Okay, so now that you know what the PAYDEX, Dun & Bradstreet, everything is, let me tell you how to build it, because this is the part most people skip over. Step 1, I do want you to open the Net 30 vendor accounts with suppliers that specifically also report to Dun & Bradstreet. These are considered Net 30, means you have 30 days to pay after purchasing. And before you open any new vendor, ask directly, do you report to Dun & Bradstreet? Some do, some don't. And I have a list of the ones that do below. You can get them at the funding checklist too. Now, we want to make sure that you're paying early on these, not just on time, early. Paying your invoices 10 to 20 days before the due date actively boosts your PAYDEX score beyond on-time payments alone will do. So that's one habit alone that can push you significantly up the scale. You also want to keep your business expenses completely separate from personal accounts. I can't stress this enough in the process, especially when you go to connect your accounts, right, to the platform. Because if you're using personal cards for business purchases, you're confusing D&B's reporting, and it's basically like starving your business credit file of the data in it. Every dollar spent for business should run through a business account or even a business card that's tied to your DUNS number. Now, this is also important too. If you see inaccurate information on your D&B profile, and sometimes there are, you have to know how to dispute it immediately. Wrong payment history, incorrect trade line references, outdated information, all that can also suppress your score and hurt your credibility, just like it could on the personal credit, because you guys know I do that too, right? You have to make sure all of these are reporting perfectly. And you have the right to correct your own business credit profile, and you should be doing that proactively. So now, once you got that DUNS number, Cage, Sam's, everything is in motion, trade lines are moving, the next thing you can do is use the My DMB mobile app from Dun Bradstreet to now build it, right? And that's really important because now you can see your own business in real time and how lenders and partners are seeing it. Your scores, your payment history, the profile data, all of it paints a picture. And you need to know what that picture looks like before someone else tells you what it is. That's why I check that regularly. And I also check my actual personal credit score regularly, right? Not out of anxiety, but just because information is leverage. Every business decision I make, I want to be making it with clear visibility into how my business looks to the outside world. So you can also download the My DMB app at the Apple Store or Google Play, right? Set it up and you can immediately start seeing your business through the eyes of the people whose decisions affect your actual growth and funding capacity. Now, let's also just mention too about the credit insights, because this is where visibility can also become strategy. Most business owners don't think about their business credit profile until they're sitting across from a lender and something goes wrong. You know, that's not how we do things over here. So, getting inside the insights actually shows you 6 actual D&B business credit scores. It shows you who has been making inquiries on your business, meaning you can see which lenders or vendors have been looking you up. And it gives you a detailed breakdown of your actual payment history and business financial patterns. So you know exactly what's feeding your scores. So for me, this wasn't about chasing a perfect number. It was just about understanding what other people see when they actually look at my business and making sure that the picture was accurate and strong, and more so telling the story that I needed it to tell. Because when you have inaccurate data on your credit profile, because when you just have inaccurate data on your credit profile, it can cost you deals, financing, partnerships, contracts that you absolutely deserve. So I just don't want you guys to get tripped up on the little stuff, right? So Credit Insights Basic gave me the clarity to grow with confidence instead of the guesswork. And so this was important to me, right? Because I've run 3 businesses, I've done deals in multiple markets, and every single opportunity that required credibility, verification came down to whether these systems were in place. Not always just a hustle, not my pitch, my data, right? So if your work is good, you're making money, your business is real, now we just have to make sure the world can see that and see it consistently. So drop a comment too below and tell me, do you already have your DUNS number and SAM registration, or are you just finding out about this really today? I read every single comment and reply, so I would love to hear where you guys are at. And in my next video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to get your first $1 million in business funding and in credit. So see you there.